Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Pranam everyone. May I request everyone to kindly switch on your videos, if possible. We already have His Grace Mohan Vilas with us from Bada, Eco Village. Okay, so here we have Mohan Vilas Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhuji. Nice to see you after a long time.
Likewise, Prabhu, likewise. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining.
Pleasure.
So on behalf of all the participants, we welcome you all. And in fact, everybody is looking forward to have your association after we shared with them that you'll be joining us and sharing your wisdom on this subject. So let me first introduce Prabhuji. His Grace Mohan Vilas Prabhuji. Academically, Prabhuji is a mechanical engineer from Sardar Patel College, Mumbai. And then he did his MBA in finance. And then he had a corporate stint also with HSBC Bank, with a couple of assignments in London and Hong Kong. In 2009, Prabhuji joined Ashram at ISKCON, Chapati, Mumbai. And then immediately after that, he was given a very important assignment at Govardhan Eco Village. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, it's a wonderful eco village, very close to Mumbai, maybe a couple of hours from Mumbai. Last month, I had almost 10 days spent with Prabhuji and with a lot of other devotees from different temples. So I would strongly recommend all of you to please do visit this place. And one of the sannyasis mentioned, if I can recollect, Prabhuji mentioned, I think, in one of the Vrindavan Parikrama, he said this place is Vrindavan minus distractions. Correct, Prabhuji? If I remember correctly. So this place is Vrindavan minus distractions. Right? So you can actually experience Vrindavan, this place. So Prabhuji was a member of the co-development team, in Wada when it started. When was this, Prabhuji? Which year it started? 2009, correct?
2010, Prabhu, yes.
2010. So last almost 12, 13 years, Prabhuji and other team members have been working on this project. And this project was led by His Grace Gaurang Prabhu. I'm sure all of you know him. And Prabhuji has been supporting him right from that time. So Prabhuji currently is leading education vertical for Eco Village, doing a lot of programs for students, for corporates, and guest relations management, and many other services. So we have the privilege of having his association. So please make the best use of, and if you could keep your videos on, then it'd be wonderful. If not, it's understandable. Many of you may be still at your work. Yeah, so no problem. So Prabhuji will be discussing on the subject we have been reading last few days, and also he will highlight why should we, read Prabhupada books and why should we, distribute these books. Over to you, Prabhuji, without taking much of your time. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Let's chant prayers to begin with. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvatamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Very happy to be here amongst all of you. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the opportunity, for taking part in this wonderful family of yours in Udaipur. So I had the fortune of visiting Udaipur, but it's been a long time. And now I see there is more reason with the temple coming up. So I really have a strong desire to somehow make it there soon. Very nice to see, Prabhu, such wonderful group you have. This actually is the only hope and saving grace for us devotees in this crazy, chaotic age. So if you have heard this story of a crocodile coming to the bank of a lake and asking the monkey that my wife actually would like to meet you, so why don't you come along? So the friendship between a crocodile and a monkey is unheard of. So out of innocence, probably, the monkey agreed and got on the crocodile's back. And then the crocodile started going in the deep waters of the lake. There in the middle of the waters, when there was no scope for the monkey to jump out, the crocodile revealed the real reason for asking the monkey to bringing the monkey. So he said, actually, my wife is very, very fond of the heart of a monkey. It's known to be very delicious. So for that, I have asked you to join me. So then the monkey, being a little intelligent, monkey said, oh, really? Why didn't you tell me before? Actually, I left my heart on the branch of the tree itself. So let's go back and quickly I'll grab my heart and then we'll come back soon. So yes, nature has created animals. Some have big size, some have good brains. So the crocodile couldn't see through the plan of the monkey and then took the monkey back to the tree foolishly. And as soon as the monkey got the opportunity, he jumped off the crocodile's back and said, thank you for revealing your intentions. My heart was always with me. So when we go out in society for our careers, for our work, for any other interaction, if we don't have a place where we have sheltered our heart, we'll end up being consumed by the world. So this world is not an easy place. Prabhupada said, this world is not a fit place for a gentleman. So whenever whatever profession or studies we do, we should do the needful. But where should our heart be? Our heart should be in the Sangha of devotees. So this opportunity that you all have and this amazing forum that you all have created is that shelter, is that safe space where you can share your heart with each other. and preserve your heart here, so that every morning when you get onto the back of the crocodile, I'm not talking about your boss or your teacher. Don't use that analogy in front of them. But the point being, where can we trust? Who can we trust? And from where can we get clarity in our life? So the irony of life is that we have to take major life decisions at a young age, right? About job, about relationships, about family. But the ironical part is that at that age, we have the least experience. So that is why we need wisdom, we need mentors, and we need a peer group, a support system. So that is what Srila Prabhupada has beautifully given us through this society of devotees. Sometimes we have a very precious gem with us, but we don't realize its importance. And we might end up using it as a paperweight. It might be a Kohinoor, but because we have not understood how Kohinoor is different and should not be used as a paperweight, we'll end up missing the opportunity. So it's great within this forum. We should seek to get direction, to get shelter, and to get inspiration. And everything that Prabhupada has shared is in his books. As Srila Prabhupada says, you can associate with me through my books. So definitely we should have a lot of love and gratitude and glorify Srila Prabhupada. But if we do all that and don't read his books, it will be a disservice to Srila Prabhupada. So if we really have to understand the heart of Srila Prabhupada, his heart is in his books. Do you know the Pranam mantra of Rupa Goswami? Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yenam Bhutale. So a disciple is one who has understood the heart of their guru. So Srila Prabhupada being our principal guru in ISKCON, our preeminent founder Acharya, Shiksha Guru for all of us. So if we have to know his heart, we have to study Prabhupada's books. Do you think it's easy to study Prabhupada's book? You all have had experience studying Srila Prabhupada's books, I'm sure. How has your experience been? Is it easy? Is it difficult? What do you feel? Yeah, please, Tanay Prabhu.
Harekrishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada's books, I mean, if you're talking about the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, then, those are something that we need to under a Shiksha Guru. But the other, the smaller books that, he's written, they are very well explained. I mean, the others are also very well explained, but they are much, much easier, even for a common person who may not be associated with ISKCON as of now.
Right.
Yes, so it's easier for even them, basically. So
sure.
So sure. That's my take.
Sure. Thank you. Anything else? In addition to what Tanay Prabhu shared? Yes, Mataji?
Harekrishna, Dhanavad Pranam Prabhuji. My personal experience is that, when I used to read even the small books of Srila Prabhupada, in fact, the Krishna book, that's not a small book, but still, when I used to read it, very frankly, I used to find it very boring. Because I used to think that the same thing is coming again and again, and so much philosophy is coming again and again. But last 3 years, especially, as I'm reading every day, so I really find so much depth in it when I read it with devotees or with somebody explaining it. So that's my take on that. It's easy, but it's also becomes, it's not that great when you are reading it alone.
Right. What has changed in the two situations that you just shared?
That is the association. That alone I was reading, and the difference is when I'm reading it with the Sangha, with the people, group of people.
Right. Sangha and also our readiness. So as much hunger as we have, that much we'll be able to absorb. If a sponge is already full of water, even if we place it in a cup of water, it will not soak in anymore. So these books are not academic body of knowledge. These books are personal. They reveal to you as you approach them. So imagine you are reading a flight instruction manual of how to fly a plane. Now, if you're reading it sitting in your house, lying on a couch, it'll appear boring. But if you are really a captain and you are actually flying a plane and you have the lives of 300 other passengers in your hands, and if there is an emergency, then every statement of that flight instruction manual will make sense. It will be life saving. So it is our readiness, our eagerness, our hunger, which makes the books relishable, relevant, and inspiring. So the process of purification is also in studying books. So by chanting, by taking Sangha of devotees, by studying, we will purify ourselves, then we'll be able to grasp and understand better. It becomes a very exciting journey, I can tell you that. So more you try to apply, the more relishable and relevant they become. So we are not scholars of theology or religious studies, that we are, okay, what is spirituality? We are devotees and we want to apply this knowledge in our lives. That is why we are reading these books. So we should have patience, and I assure you, even Bhagavad Gita by itself is so potent. It has all the essence of the Upanishads. Just by understanding the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads there are different sections in the Vedas. There are Upasana Kand, there is Karma, there is Jnana. So if you actually go on to read the Upanishad, the language is so terse that you will feel, okay, I think, let me do something else. It's very difficult to crack. But the same essential wisdom has been so beautifully presented in the Bhagavad Gita that just by understanding one scripture, that can be a guiding light for us in our entire life. So definitely these books are like maps. So imagine living our lives without a map. We'll not be able to have clarity of direction, clarity of purpose. So we might appear busy, we might appear to achieve things, but what's the direction? We'll be missing that point in life. We might just be going round and round and not be able to reach somewhere, and therefore not have a fulfilling life experience, right? So with this background, let's explore. I think we are you all have been studying Krishna consciousness. Which book now? The Matchless Gift. So chapter 6 has been completed, as I understand. A few points that I could summarize from chapter 6, I'll just share, and then we could proceed to reading chapter 7 together. So Prabhupada says in chapter 6 that intelligent and fortunate people are able to take to bhakti. So you see the combination. Prabhupada doesn't even use one word without a purpose. He is a poet. He's a scholar. Intelligent means, again, our eagerness, our hunger, and fortunate. Because as the name of the book suggests, it is not, again, like academic knowledge, these books cannot be mastered, and neither can you achieve bhakti. This is the path of grace. Because what even is the ambition of us devotees? We are wanting to become transcendental. Do you know how difficult that is? We want to go beyond the three gunas of sattva, raja, and tamam. Most of the religious processes, the goal is to reach sattva. And we as devotees want to bypass sattva. Think about it. So it's not easy. What is beyond sattva? What do we call that realm?
Shuddha Sattva.
Shuddha Sattva or transcendence. So how do we reach transcendence?
The
So if
company
you-
and guidance of devotees.
right, the connection with Krishna is what makes us transcendental, because Krishna is transcendental. So Arjun, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjun was told that if you do anything for your, driven by your own motivation, you will get a result for it. But if you offer your work to Krishna, because Krishna has no karma, therefore you will not attract any karma. That is the easiest way to become free of karma. So because Krishna is transcendental, because bhakti is transcendental, as soon as we come in touch with this process of bhakti, we are also able to live a transcendental life. Srila Prabhupada compares this to a big hammer of the blacksmith. So in one shot, we don't worry about separately performing yagya, dan, tab, anushtan, shuchi, and yam, niyama. All of those are not required if we are able to directly practice Krishna Bhakti. So Prabhupada compares other processes to small hammer used by a goldsmith, and Krishna Bhakti to a big hammer used by a blacksmith. So that is how powerful Bhakti is. Why? Again, because the purifying agent is Lord Krishna himself. There's a beautiful verse which comes in Bhagavatam, which says, it ends with, Shuddhyante tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Krishna is the purifying agent. Prabhavishnu will do the Shuddhikaran. So that is where our hope lies. We cannot cross this three modes or this ocean of material nature on our own strength. It's too huge, it's too vast. Big yogis have failed. And who are we? So what is the hope? If Krishna joins our side, if Krishna takes our side, then anything is possible. Because Prakriti is Krishna's energy. Daivi hi eshu gunamayi. Have you heard this shloka? This Krishna calls Maya or material energy as Daivi, divine. This divine energy of mine is too difficult to overcome. But those who surrender unto me, they are very easily able to cross it. So that's the secret of bhakti, that's the mood of bhakti. And I surrender to you, Krishna. So that surrender is not out of helplessness or ignorance, that I have no other strength or ability, therefore I surrender. Surrender is the smartest thing to do. So a yogi and a jnani may, on their own endeavor, try to achieve perfection. Prabhupada says that is not practical in this age. To go in a forest, to sit in a right angle posture for continuous days after days. We don't have that capacity. Let's acknowledge that. What is possible is we can understand how to align to the divine creator. And then everything becomes, once we align to Krishna's plan, then he supports us. That is why bhakti is called the path of grace. So surrender leads to freedom, Srila Prabhupada says. And why is this book called The Matchless Gift? Because bhakti is a gift which can only be given by a pure devotee to a jiva. Otherwise, by our own endeavor, we cannot achieve bhakti or attain bhakti. Right? So this is, I think, some key points from chapter 6. We can start chapter 7. How do we do it? We read together or... yeah, thank you. Some of the points of this also I have already shared. So, do we read, Prabhu, or should I just comment?
Yes, you can read, and wherever you want to stop and comment, you can.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you. So, chapter 7, the matchless gift, liberation in Krishna consciousness. So, Prabhupada starts by writing, if we simply worship the original person, now again, it is important, who do we choose as our object of worship? There are so many objects of worship in this world. You can worship your boss, you can worship a politician, you can worship the president, but they are all limited in their influences. So therefore, the intelligence is in worshipping the Adi Purush, the most prominent person. So our connection with Krishna is what makes our practice transcendental. So we could have friends. So if I'm shaking hands with a friend, you will find it very ordinary. But if you see me shaking hands with the Prime Minister of the country, then you will see, okay, I think they have some connection. So similarly, when we come in connection with Krishna, that is a very important leap. Just by worshipping the original person, Prabhupada says, we need not fear being misled by anyone. Srila Swami, the original commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, explains that one can reach the perfection of life simply by devotional service. Kevalaya Bhaktya. So this Prabhupada is taking this phrase from a shloka in Bhagavatam. We will come to that. Can we proceed in the text? One need not be dependent on any other process. So the path that we are following in the line of Srila Prabhupada, the Goswamis, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the path of Kevala Bhakti. So we have full faith that just by performing bhakti alone, we will achieve perfection. In fact, that is how Shraddha is defined. Shraddha Shabde Vishwase Kahe Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krit Hoy. Shraddha means to have firm faith that if I perform devotional service to Krishna, everything else is taken care. I don't need to separately do my yajna, separately accumulate jnana, separately practice yoga. Not required. Sarva karma krita hoy. What is the problem if we don't have one pointedness in the object of our devotion? That is called contamination of consciousness or contamination of faith. So then it becomes mishra. What happens? Why are the Goswamis and our acharyas telling us to cultivate pure, unalloyed, one-pointed devotion? Why can't we do bhakti to Krishna and also do some puja, also have some backups? And if something doesn't work out, we can also check something, meet some pandit. Why do we not do that? Why is it recommended that we do just bhakti and everything will be taken care of? What's the problem there, do you think?
Shraddha. If we have Shraddha in Krishna's mercy, and if we are taking shelter of Krishna, then we should not have trust in anything else other than his mercy.
Absolutely. What will happen if we start investing in Krishna plus something else?
Our mind will diverge in multiple ways.
Good. What else?
We will not get the full benefit.
Wow, very nice replies. One is we will create dependencies. We will start, as soon as we start taking shelter of anything but Krishna, that becomes a dependency. Next time we will become dependent on them. So when there is a time of need, we will not take shelter of Krishna, but we'll take shelter of something else. That's the problem. So it's a deviation, it becomes a distraction. And definitely, because our investment is not one-pointed, we'll not get the complete result. That is why Keval Bhakti is recommended. Thank you. So yeah, let's proceed. Shukdev Goswami says that one can put an end to material life by one stroke. Kevalya. Kevalya. This is not Kaivalya. Kaivalya in Jnani language is salvation. This is Kevalaya. Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya. This is one-pointed devotion. So Prabhupada is saying there is no need to do anything separately. There is no need to first undergo severe penance and austerity, practice celibacy, control the mind and the senses, give in charity, perform great sacrifices, and become very truthful and clean. Simply by one stroke, by accepting Krishna consciousness, one immediately rises to the highest position. What is that highest position we discussed? Transcendence or Shuddha Sattva or Krishna Bhakti. So here is the example we were talking of. By just taking to Krishna consciousness, one develops all transcendental qualifications. Can anyone remember which shloka is Prabhupada referring to here? By just taking to Krishna consciousness, one develops all transcendental qualifications.
Sarv Dharman Parityajya, Prabhuji.
There is one more shloka in Bhagavatam which directly says this. Very beautiful shloka. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 18th chapter, 12th shloka.
Yasyasti bhaktir bhakti.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite. It says, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunaistattra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato vahi. So it says somebody who is practicing bhakti, they will get all divine qualities. They don't need to separately endeavor. On the other hand, what is the use of somebody having all good qualities but not having bhakti? Why? What's the problem there? So we might encounter people who are like sattvic, who are vegetarian. But if that practice is not based in a solid value system like Krishna consciousness, it can change tomorrow. What is the problem there? The shloka says, Manorathe nasati dhavato vahihi. It says it is like on the mental platform. Today, somebody is following vegetarianism. Tomorrow, if the same orthodox person from India goes to the US, gets a job, gets a different association, they will give up their vegetarianism. Haven't we seen so many cases like that? So somebody who does not have devotional service, for them, even other divine qualities may not last because they are on the mental platform. Today they like it, therefore they are following it. Tomorrow they might like something else. So therefore it's good to be rooted in bhakti, and from that all good qualities will manifest. So this is the example. The goldsmith uses a small hammer and taps the gold many times. But the blacksmith uses a large hammer, and with one stroke, his job is finished. Srila Prabhupada is making it very graphic, how bhakti works. So all the other things that Prabhupada had listed above, cleanliness, purity, celibacy, charity, sacrifice, all of that, see, they might look if we see someone doing that, because it has external symbolic value, we might feel, oh, these people are so religious. But not really. They are doing it for a selfish gain. They are doing it without any devotion to Krishna. And it's not complete without bhakti to Krishna. So it's like a small hammer of the goldsmith. This is the blacksmith's method. We take the big hammer of bhakti yoga and finish all material life. So what are we criticizing when we talk of material life? Should we as devotees not have material life? Should we not have families, jobs, not be ambitious, do something innovative? The problem is materialism. Prahlad Maharaj was living in a palace, but the mood and consciousness of Prahlad Maharaj was spiritual, devotional. So it is the consciousness that we are targeting, not our engagement and our occupation and our environment. So Arjun was practicing bhakti by shooting arrows. So the beauty of bhakti is that it can be practiced in any environment, which is not possible in jnana yoga. In that, you necessarily have to become socially disengaged, go to the forest. But here in bhakti, we get the full benefit, and the process is also practical. That is the advantage of bhakti. And in bhakti, the means and the goal are the same. Whereas in other processes, the process is difficult, the goal is incomplete, and it's also difficult to follow the process itself. So these things are very clearly established in the Bhagavad Gita. There is no need to undergo the many lesser disciplines nor to follow any other processes. So no need to do all that what we listed above. In actuality, there is no possibility of even following the other Vedic processes to perfection. So Srila Prabhupada is very clearly stating here, they might be difficult, they are also impractical. For instance, the Hatha Yoga process would say, you have to become a strict brahmachari and sit in the forest with your body at right angle to the ground, pressing your nose with your fingers for 6 months. How many of us can do that? So we want the highest gain from our position. We don't want, so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave that beautiful gift. Sthane sthita shrutigata tanuvan manohar. You don't need to change your social position. Wherever you are, from there you can attain Krishna. This was not available before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let me tell you what the highest sharing, this Keval Bhakti with the whole world, this has been made possible by the love and mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who could follow such an instruction? Since such a method is not practical in this present age, the goldsmith method has to be discarded. The solution is to take the blacksmith's hammer of Krishna consciousness and finish off all sinful reactions immediately. Make sense? Are you convinced? So Prabhupada goes on to say, we'll cover a little more. By devotional service, so what is the goal of devotional service? What does it mean to practice Krishna consciousness? As the word says, we have to become conscious of Krishna in everything that we do. So Bhagavad Gita presents the greatness of the Lord, and Bhagavatam presents the sweetness of the Lord. So once we know that Krishna is so great and Krishna is so sweet, there can be no better object of my worship. Therefore, one is able to give their heart completely to Sri Krishna. That is the process. So by devotional service, one has to become Vasudeva Parayana or Narayana Parayana, a devotee of Lord Vasudeva or Lord Krishna. In other words, we have to learn how to become lovers of Vasudeva. So we have to ultimately, the goal of bhakti is to become a lover of Krishna. What is the meaning of being a lover of somebody? Like a mother loves her children. So the kind of care the mother would take, even a father for that matter, both. So a mother would go out of her way, learn so many recipes and work so hard and make something so delicious for the family. Why is the mother doing that? Because
Unconditional love.
sorry?
Unconditional love of mother.
Her love is motivating. She's not a professional who is paid $1 million to do that job. Even a professional chef will not be able to have that devotional, loving mood day after day after day. So no chef, no nurse can replace the role of a mother. Srila Prabhupada says the closest example of Krishna's love for Jiva's love for Krishna is in this material world that we can see is that of a love between a mother and a child. That is the most pristine form of selfless love we have experienced. So I'm trying to say that devotion motivates us, and then we'll have our expertise, we'll get our knowledge. That is not primary. So once we become devotional to Krishna, we would love to learn everything on how to do it best for Krishna. How can I make the best garlands for Krishna? How can I serve Krishna best? How can I understand Krishna's message in the best way? So let me study Bhagavad Gita nicely. So the highest motivation can be of love. If the world takes up this Krishna consciousness, the planet is certain to be peaceful. We want peace. So this is the message of peace. Prabhupada was in New York. He was meeting the sheriff, like the police commissioner of that city. And when Prabhupada was there, the crime rates were very high. So Prabhupada said, we can help you reduce the crime rates. So the sheriff asked, okay, how? He said, you give us a big hall. We will get all the young people of the city and we'll do Sankirtan and we'll do Krishna Katha. So of course the sheriff was not able to get it, that we have to become Vasudeva Parayana. But that is really the method of purification in this age. As we hear in Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, Shringatam Svakatha Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridayantastu Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhrit Satam. The problem in this world is that everyone is acting out of greed and envy, and therefore we have become each other's enemy. The problem is not from outside. We are creating a problem. Wherever you keep a group of people, they are enough to destroy each other's peace. So the problem is the lower nature that we have. And the only way to overcome it is through Krishna consciousness. Shuddhyante tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Krishna is the purifying agent, no other way. Now the earth is quickly becoming a hellish planet. And if this Krishna consciousness is not taken up, this hellish condition will progress despite all advances in education and economic development. We can see that. We have made so much advance in science, technology, but living today, we have a world war happening. So we should be able to understand the difference between material prosperity and human evolution. Nobody's addressing how to improve your consciousness, how to overcome your lower nature of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsya. Nobody's talking about it. No school is teaching it. Everyone is just saying how to have a more comfortable situation in this world. So there are two different things. Till the time we don't address human nature, we will not be able to have peace. We might be able to have prosperity, material prosperity, but not peace. So we should understand that two are very different. Therefore, those who are thoughtful should take this movement very seriously and try to understand its value. It is not something manufactured by one man or a group of disciples. Prabhupada is saying it is not Indian or it is not my movement. These are principles given by Lord Krishna. These are universal, these are eternal, these are Sanatan. It is authoritative and age-old, based on the Vedic literatures which date back thousands of years. So there are two ways of approaching knowledge. One way is this, that we understand that the wise sages of the past, they have spent their entire lifetimes, handed over their learnings and teachings to the next in parampara. And over time, they have distilled that teaching and finally given us the best. But the modern concept of knowledge is that what we knew previously is primitive and incomplete, and now we will do research and improve our understanding. So they are very opposing thoughts. Our understanding is Vedic scriptures have the complete essential message, and that has been handed down in parampara, and we just need to receive it without any manipulation. There is no need for any further research. Because, one scientist may spend their entire lifetime to come up with one concept or one formula. How much time do we have? We cannot do research in spiritual life. There are acharyas who have done research and established. Srila Madhvacharya, Srila Ramanujacharya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. If we understand what they have presented, that is enough research. So I think we can close here. We just also gone over time. Any questions or comments or thoughts you all have? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in the beginning of the class, you said that Keval Bhakti leads to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does a perfect person look like? So what does the perfection here means exactly?
Yeah, very good question, Prabhu, actually. Prabhu, we have time, so just give me an idea till when we can.
Yes, please go ahead, Prabhuji.
You be the monitor, Prabhu.
Don't worry, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's your dinner time or what, I have no idea. So
It's only discussion time. Only discussion time.
Zoom meetings, unfortunately, don't end up in prasadam. That's the only thing we miss.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, Tanay Prabhu, very important question. What is that purity or one-pointedness? Could you summarize your question again?
Prabhuji, my question is, in the beginning of the class, you said that Keval Bhakti leads to perfection.
Yeah.
So what is that perfection, and what does a person with that perfection look like? What characteristics does that person have?
First of all, let's understand what is Keval Bhakti. Keval Bhakti means, so let me ask you back. So all of us who are practicing in our Society of Srila Prabhupada, are we practicing pure devotion?
No problem.
Or are we practicing mixed devotion?
Prabhuji, mixed.
How many feel it is mixed? Raise your hands. Okay. Anyone feel it is pure devotion? Okay. Why is it pure? Would you like to share? So, do you remember how did we discuss the definition of Shraddha?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Shabde Vishwase kahe surdrida nischay Krishna Bhakti koila sarva karma krit hoy. So we are talking of, when we talk of pure devotion, we are talking of pure Shraddha. Do any of us want our material desires to be fulfilled? Do any of us go to Krishna for our material desires? Except for kids in exam time. So we know what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, na dhanam, na janam, na sundare, kavitam va jagadisha kame. If you're coming to the house of Krishna consciousness, there is no material gain. This is how a pure devotee looks like. So yes, all of us are conditioned souls. Because we have lived in association with material desires for so long, so that baggage of material desires has not gone away. But we don't pray for that to be fulfilled. I don't pray to be popular. I don't pray to become rich or have a high status. I pray. What do we pray for? Krishna pray, Krishna Bhakti. So if all of us are praying and aspiring for Krishna Prem and Krishna Bhakti, we are all in the path of pure devotional service. That is how, so we should be very proud that our acharyas have given us something very high. So let us keep our Shraddha pure. It is okay if the baggage of our Swabhava, of our material conditioning will sometimes drag us back. But we should not give up the resolve and not contaminate or compromise our Shraddha by saying, okay, this time let me pursue this material desire. No, that will be a compromise. That is the time our Shraddha will become contaminated, and that is the time we will stop being Kevala Bhakti. Then it will not be Kevala Bhakti. Then it will be Bhakti mixed with material desires. And the destination is different. So if we practice Keval Bhakti, we will go to Goloka. If we do Karma Mishra Bhakti, you will end up in Swarga. So it's very dangerous also. Like a rocket is launched, initially half a degree may not look any different. So we might feel, oh, there is only one material desire I have. I think Krishna will tolerate it. It looks one now, but when the rocket is taking off, instead of Mars, it will go to Saturn. Anyways, we don't know where it is going. So you get the point. So purity is required so that we can remain focused on our destination. If our Shraddha is contaminated, our desires will be contaminated, our prayers will be contaminated, and service will also be contaminated. Is that another question? It's Shalija.
But we try our best. But as a mother, say if a child is sick or in some difficult situation, if we pray for or if we ask for his mercy, his protection, or to save my child, or
Right.
for your husband or something like that,
Mhm.
is that mixed devotion, Prabhuji? Will that come in the category of a mixed devotion?
What do you think?
I'm confused. That is, I'm asking you, Prabhuji. I'm asking because it's not that I'm asking for some material desire, but as I also understand, I think my question to you is answering it also, because hearing you, it said that he will, if you are at his feet, if you surrender at his feet, he takes care of everything. That's what I heard from you as well.
Yeah.
So, but still, I'm still asking you.
There's this beautiful shloka that yagyartha karmano anyatra. This is, see, that is why the importance of studying scripture, Srila Prabhupada's books. Because if we don't have a compass, if we don't know where the north is, everyone will be convinced that their idea is the right idea. So what is that real one true north, that lighthouse which we all should follow? That is scripture, that is Bhagavad Gita. So 3.9 in Bhagavad Gita says, Yagyarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So you're talking of bondage. Will that bind you in material life? This shloka is talking of what is karma bandhan. If we don't do any activity in the mood of yajna, it becomes a karma bandhan. Every action we'll do will have a reaction and implicate us further. So your question can be answered once we know the consciousness of the person. For example, in marriage, I was just hearing a talk by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So he says, what should be the consciousness of the partners? The husband should think that the wife is a beautiful daughter of Krishna given to me in my care. And it is my responsibility to take care of her physical, emotional, mental, social needs. Similarly, the wife should think that my husband is a son of Krishna and in my care, and I should help. So when they help each other on a spiritual platform, then it becomes yajna. So what is the consciousness behind those relationships? That will decide whether it will lead to bondage or whether it will lead to bhakti. So we cannot say, we cannot judge and say, pass a general statement. What consciousness are you carrying, or what situation? Everything depends on the spirit of. So somebody might be in this world living a very engaged life, might be a CEO of a company, having a family, but if they are doing it in the spirit of yajna, they are liberated. And somebody who is wearing the robes of a sannyasi sitting in a forest and still contemplating on sense gratification, Lord Krishna says in the Gita, they are a hypocrite. So consciousness decides reaction, not the activity. So in what consciousness are you desiring the welfare of your family? Is it at a bodily level? Even then it is good. Self-preservation is not considered selfish desire. But then you can take it to a higher realm. See your child in connection to Krishna. Then it will be a win-win for both of you. You don't have to change any setting. You just have to change your consciousness. And it is not difficult only in Grihastha ashram. Which other ashram do you have experience of? Every ashram is equally difficult. Does that answer your question? Yeah? Okay.
Beautifully answered, Prabhuji, and my doubts cleared. Thank you so much. Dandavad Pranam.
Any other thoughts? Anything you liked? Good. Thanks for your attention at this late hour in the night. Very happy to be in all of your association. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mohan Vilas Prabhu. I'll request maybe one participant to summarize just to ensure that everybody has been attentive in the conversation. Shami Mataji could summarize key learnings in today's session.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. Wonderful session. It was transcendental and blissful, and it gave me so many insights in my personal, professional, everything. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I will just. I have just written a few points. I'll just share.
Yeah, please. Sure.
The connection with Krishna will make us transcendental. When you said what actually makes us transcendental, it's the association with Krishna. And Prabhupada ji has used the analogy of a big hammer, which is used by a blacksmith. And by which you meant that you don't need anything else, as mentioned above. And it's just bhakti, kevala bhakti, which means one-pointed attention, unalloyed, unadulterated devotion, which is required for Krishna bhakti. And intelligence is in worshipping the Adi Purusha. That the most intelligent and the smartest person is the one who understands Vasudeva or Krishna. And it actually leads us to Shuddha Sattva, which is transcendence. And from bhakti, all good qualities can manifest. You don't have to work after one quality to be perfected. With bhakti, everything will manifest. And I think I might be wrong here. I'll need you can correct me here. I think you said Bhagavad Gita talks about the greatness of the Lord, and Bhagavatam talks about the sweetness of the Lord. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what
both are presented in both places, but Bhagavad Gita is more about vibhutis of Krishna, shaktis of Krishna.
Right.
And Bhagavatam is like dedicated to Krishna's sweetness.
Yes.
So Brajvasis have no interest in understanding Krishna's greatness. He might be God, but we love him for him being Krishna.
Right. Truly. Thank you, Prabhuji. Next, you told us that we have to become the lovers of Vasudeva. And love is unstoppable, intense, unconditional love, which you compared to the love of a mother to a child. And likewise, once we become devotional for Krishna, we would want to do everything in the best way possible for Krishna. And the method of purification, or we can say the simplest method of purification in this age, is Krishna Sankirtan or Harinam Sankirtan. And the problem is contamination of consciousness, as you told. The reason why we're not able to do it is because our consciousness has been contaminated and conditioned by the world. And lower nature is overcome by Krishna Bhakti. We can overcome all kinds of lower emotions and intentions with Krishna Bhakti. And how Earth is slowly becoming a hellish planet. But again, I think I can connect it with the last question that you just answered, that it is not the setting, but the intention of consciousness. So even maybe it's not really becoming a hellish planet, but if we just change, all of us slowly change our consciousness, maybe we still are, we have everything possible. And it was also spoken of in the previous class that, we are, Krishna is whole, so everything provided by him is whole. So actually we would not need anything else. It's just the greed that is driving us to want more. And there is no need for any research. Our scriptures have the complete knowledge because it has been coming down through a disciplic succession. And consciousness behind your intention decides the bondage or reaction, not your activity. And the last thing that I wrote was, you have to change your setting. You don't have to change your setting. You just have to change your consciousness. Thank you, Prabhuji. I might have been wrong, but I had been writing.
Very comprehensive, very impressive. Thank you. I didn't have such notes.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I just wrote small things which I could take away from the session, and it was just transcendental and blissful, as I said. And thank you for your association. We are very, very fortunate to have heard you and learned from you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. My pleasure and honor. Thank you, Madan Govind Prabhu.
Thank you, Shai Mataji. So I spent almost 10 days in Vada along with Prabhuji, but I didn't get a chance to hear from you like this. So I'm relishing this association than that physical association in Vada.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was a wonderful session. I personally relished each and every word of it. I'm sure all the devotees also relish the association and will be keen to have you again with us very soon, if you allow us to invite you again more frequently.
Thank you, Gamin. That's your humility.
And thank you everyone for coming and joining the session. I'm sure you all relished. You could find the value of association of such exalted devotees. And I'll personally request everyone to be present every day and read Prabhupada, study Prabhupada books. And we'll keep inviting devotees like Mohan to give you association. Yeah. And with this, let me once again thank Mohan Prabhu and hoping to have you again very soon with us.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, everyone.
Very much. Vancha kalpatru vesha kripa sindhu vesha paritanam pavnebhyo vishnu. His Grace Mohan Vilas Prabhuji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakti ki jai. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.